Hey everyone, it's Fred Staab. Welcome to Cruise Control. We are just getting ready for a great 2 hours of really interesting automotive information. Les Jackson is here, which is exciting as always, right, Les
I
Jackson?
don't know about exciting, but but I'm on time and prompt.
Well, that's good. That's good. And
Yeah,
we've got a lot to get to. We're going to talk about the EV9, which is an upcoming full
yeah.
size SUV, electric SUV from the folks over at Kia. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Dodge putting out their first of their last chance vehicles, last call vehicles. I shouldn't say last chance. Um,
Yeah.
let,
Pretty
last
cool.
chance for Hemi Power, and also the average cost of the car loan and the average payment is going up and up and up and up, and we will talk about that. All that and more when we come back on Cruise Control.
This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Well. Hello, fun seekers and automotive enthusiasts and just curious people. Welcome to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine. We're here every week. You know me. I'm Les Jackson. You know him. That's Fred Staub. And you know, no surprise, we have a bunch of new information about, it's almost like CNN for cars.
Yeah, I guess so, Les. And yeah, we're going to start off with something big from Kia. They love
Yeah,
their Telluride, and a new version is coming, an electric version. The EV9, we'll tell you all about it.
that's right. And Dodge has just released the first of its last call Hemi powered Challengers. Now, last week we had the Dodge folks on for a full rundown of these things. This is the first one, and you better get your checkbook out.
Sure, it will
And
be
if
selling
you,
for MSRP, don't you think?
yeah, first, don't be surprised if they're already sold out. But secondly, bring your money.
Yeah, exactly. Bring your money. And Ford opens up the Mach E order bank. Yes, it's open again for
Yeah.
2023. We'll tell you about some of the new things that are available on the Mach E.
That's right. And no surprise here, the average cost of a car loan is setting records. Boy, that's depressing. And what are most people paying each month? Well, we're going to have the details. Again, bring your checkbook. this is this is the "We Want You to Pay" segment of the car business. But
Yeah, that's true. And there's a
gotta
lot
gotta
of people
spend it.
are paying, and they're just happy if
Yeah,
they can get it for MSRP. But so we will tell you about that and more when we get rolling on this edition of Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. It's all there, cruisecontrolradio.com. And we're going to keep you entertained. um, I tell you
we'll
what,
try.
well, the cost, less of new vehicles, I've never seen it go up so quickly.
Yeah,
I believe it's gone up like 10 grand in 1 year.
I think it has, and nobody can handle that kind of dramatic shift. So, but people are stuck. They have to have a vehicle. They go to work, whatever. Um, I I don't see used car sales increasing that much, which is kind of odd.
But actually, the cost of used cars has gone
Well,
down a little
yeah.
bit. We'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back. Les, you had a chance to drive something interesting this week, didn't you?
I now see there you go with that word interesting because I don't. Well, anyway, I drove because a neighbor's friend stopped over and wanted to meet the car guy, and the friend uh, offered to let me drive her 11-year-old 165,000 mile smart car.
Wow.
That was the word I used. Um, Now, about 20 years ago, up at Hemming's Motor News, they used to let everybody or us drive their old collection, and I drove a 1925 American LaFrance fire engine
Ooh, I like that.
with with the shifter and the parking brake outside the driver's door, chain drive,
Wow.
straight gears. I was the only one actually who could drive it, and that was more pleasant to drive than that smart car was.
Wow.
It was truly just awful.
Yeah, Smart, of course, is no longer in the U.S.
No,
Their last models were all electric, um, but I don't see them coming back anytime soon. They do
I
have
don't either.
a SUV, believe it or not, that we don't get here, but um, we will talk about that at some point, I'm sure. Um, yeah, Roger Penske was big into Smart. I believe he bought Smart for a while
I
in
think
the
he did.
U.S. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Cruise Control will be right back. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staab. We're glad to be along for the ride, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the Kia EV9, and this is I would call it the electric. I would call it the electric Telluride, Les.
Right. I mean, it looks like a Telluride,
Yeah.
in spite of the flash paint job to hide the shape.
Right.
Um, but that's okay. The Telluride is a very, very great package.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they can't wait
so,
to get this thing into production, I'm sure,
oh
because
yeah.
it's going
Um,
to be a big seller.
well, but the problem right now with electrics is price of cars, vehicles is so high, and
Yep.
electrics automatically add another upwards of 10,000.
Yeah.
Um, how many can you sell?
I don't know. I mean, I think it will change that as we saw in certain states this week that you will be you will be only able to buy them. So the average price of
Yes.
vehicles will skyrocket. Um, but I think there's a demand for this. You look at things like Volkswagen's ID4, which I drove
Hmm.
not that long ago. Um, they are they are great vehicles. They do well. I think people want them. Uh, you're not. Will you save money with an electric vehicle? In certain ways, yes. In certain ways, no.
Eventually.
You're starting a little behind the curve, right?
Well, same thing. A hybrid takes a number of years to pay for itself, a fairly large number of years, and electric's going to be the same thing. But at the same time, I think the cost of ownership on electric is significantly lower.
Yeah, yeah, the everyday cost. It's how
Right.
can you amortize out that initial cost. But the EV9, I'm sure they can't wait to get that into production. Um, very much, very Telluride like. And
Yeah.
as the people from Kia have said, they would love every vehicle to be like a Telluride because that
Yeah.
has been a huge, a big, big,
Boy,
big sales.
I see them everywhere. Apparently, everyone with a two kids and a dog and a bicycles has a Telluride.
Everyone with a pulse has a Telluride.
That's it.
so,
Yeah.
so big news. Of course, last week we had Bob Broderdorf, the head of Dodge brand for North America, on. Told us all about what was going on. They had Dodge Speed Week. They revealed a number of vehicles. They revealed, of course, the Dodge Hornet, which is based on the Alpha Tonale.
Right.
And a lot of people are saying that they like that better than the Tonale, and apparently Alfa Romeo is a little bit upset about it because they developed that for themselves. But of course, it's a corporate vehicle, so they can other
You
people can use
have
it.
to amortize the costs.
You and I thought Dodge did a great job of making that their own, right?
They did. I mean, you would never know. It's an Italian Dodge.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of an upset there, but of course, over at Dodge, the big news is that the Hemi is going away and staying away. It's not quite clear yet. Will they completely eliminate the Hemi right away, or will they completely eliminate the internal combustion engine? But we are getting the new Challenger and Charger, so big changes are afoot. But
Yep.
while we have the Hemi powered versions, they are coming out with what they call the last call versions. And this first one, that it's one of 7 different last call special models. And this is called the Shakedown, which I love that name. Of course, the Shakedown refers to the Shaker Hood Scoop. This has got the 392 Hemi in it and some special striping. It's got a mean look. It's got a mean stance and some great wheels on it, doesn't it?
It really looks cool. Um, Normally, I am not as much attracted to these because they're kind of in your face, but they've done a really interesting job on it. It looks very 1960s
I would
and
agree.
yet modern.
Yeah, I would agree. And we're going to talk more about those last call versions of the Dodges when we come back on Cruise Control, your on air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back.
Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I, before the break, we're talking about the Dodge, the last chance Dodges. And we were talking about, of course, the Challenger Shakedown. Great name.
Yeah, Shakedown, you're busted. Is
Yeah.
that Bob Seger song?
Bob Seger. Some of the, well, Shaker Hood, of course.
But you look at this vehicle, and we've got some Facebook pictures up. They finally got the stance right, and with the wheel and tire combo. And I guess doing that from the factory is kind of a big deal, to fill those wheel wells up all the way and do that. I love the Shaker Hood Scoop. I like the Shaker Hood Scoop, although it wasn't called that, on the Firebird. I always thought they were cool.
Well, I do. I liked them too. Back in the day, some Mustangs had them.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Shaker. It was just a scoop coming through. I always liked it. I just thought it didn't necessarily look like a hot rod. It just looked kind of what? Strong.
Strong. I was going to use another word, but we'll let's keep it
Yeah.
In a family version of this show. But so there's going to be 7 different models. This is the first one, Shakedown, and then only 1,000 of them are planned for production.
Right.
So I think this will sell for MSRP or slightly below. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can strike a deal on those.
Yeah.
He said in an insincere way.
Yeah.
If you can even get one, they may be completely spoken for.
Yeah, I bet somebody will buy 7 of them, to have a collection. And so the 6th, I'll tell you a little bit about what we know here. The 6th special edition Challenger and Charger models will be revealed. Those 1 through 6 will be revealed through September 21st, 2022. So they're going to really pile them on. The 7th and final model will be revealed at the 2022 SEMA show in Las Vegas, November 1st through 4th. And they will all carry a commemorative last call under hood plaque. Now, I think when we watch Graveyard Cars, the great-grandchildren edition, somebody will be looking for one of those commemorative plaques when they restore this in 60 years from now. What do you think?
I agree. This stuff always comes back, and in the old days of more glamorous PR events, they would have taken a whole fleet of these and driven them across the country through all of the local press associations.
Yeah.
And we would spend an afternoon driving them and taking pictures.
Yeah.
Eating hot dogs.
Well, there is something called the Never Lift 24-month roadmap to Dodge brand's future, but you can find that at dodgegarage.com, dodgegarage.com. But that's sort of just kind of a roadmap of what they'll be doing with these vehicles. So interesting stuff, though. It will be different without the Hemi for sure, won't it?
It sure will, but everything has its time, everything has its place. I think a future electric will just terrify people in its performance. So
yeah, we're going to do a story later on about how the folks over at Rimac, who build some incredible vehicles, they're all electric vehicles. They're saying that it will be common for electric supercars to accelerate to 0 to 60 in under a second.
Yeah, that's about the theoretical limit, but I agree. I think you better be prepared for it, because that kind of acceleration is going to get noticed.
Well, I've the fastest I've done 0 to 60 in about a second and a half in a dragster, and let me
Okay.
tell you, it's like being dropped off a building or
It
the
is.
biggest roller coaster you've ever experienced, and you've
Yeah.
been shot off carriers.
Which is 0 to 120 in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
So it's basically 0 to 60 in 1 second, sort of.
yeah.
Uh,
Is the
it's
average person going to be able to handle this?
no. First of all, the average person, first few times they do it, they're going to throw up, which isn't a good thing to do. And secondly,
I
some
don't think
people
it's ever been considered a good thing to do.
generally not.
Yeah.
Some people will actually almost pass out.
Well, that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody gets in a well-heeled person that maybe doesn't hit the gym so much and
Yep.
hits the throttle, that could be a bad scene, man.
And you get tunnel vision
Yeah.
momentarily, which is not a good thing. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's going to be an interesting future for sure.
Yeah.
Will the Dodge folks like the sound of the exhaust, the synthesized exhaust? I mean, you know what the key to me it's got to be very deep. It's got to be a lot of bass in it. You know, that's what we like.
And as Bob Bodendorf said, they keep it at 126 decibels. Now, I was thinking about that last week, and that's against federal law. You can't exceed 90 decibels. But the law is it can't be exceeded within 50 feet of humans, the same humans, for more than 10 seconds. So they're not violating the law because, of course, the car's accelerating, it's going away.
Right. That's what they call the drive-by rating, where someone stands with monitoring equipment, the car drives past. I also think you might see what they use as something similar they use on sirens now. They're called rumblers, and they're all low frequency, and it's to if you're in your car and the radio's on, it's to have you feel that feeling and to get your attention. I think they will use bass and sub-bass amplification to really get to the. It's the bass for me of a car and the chop. There's like a chop to the exhaust. It's sort of a bass chop thing. What do you think?
That's right. And cars that have that high frequency blatty sound tend to just annoy everybody. It's not a pleasant sound.
Yeah. Well, I think this is going to be a whole realm of electric vehicles controlling the sound, because you can do sound design. You can start and do whatever you want. I want it to sound like a Ford tractor from the 1930s.
Well, yeah. I would sort of like to have it sound like an F4 Phantom flying over.
There you go. Hey, well, coming up, we're going to talk about Ford opening up the order banks once again of the Mach E. This has become a current thing that we see a lot, where you want a vehicle, but they sell out very quickly. And Ford, of course, has made some tweaks to the Mach E, and we'll be opening up the order banks again for 2023. We'll tell you what's new with those, and then we're also going to tell you that the average price people pay per month has gone up tremendously. We'll look at some of those numbers and give you some food for thought if you're going out to buy a vehicle, and what you might be paying. A lot of people are very, very shocked when they encounter some of those prices. So, hey, more Cruise Control coming up. Stay tuned. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back. Hey, Les,
We're hitting 10.
we will be right back in with Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He is none other than Les Jackson. We are glad you're along for the ride. And I was just, you and I were talking a little bit about some of these electric vehicles and being able to accelerate. We're going to tell you a little bit later about some that will be able to accelerate 0 to 60 in less than a second. And it leads you, as you were mentioning, it leads you to think, will people be able to handle this type of thing? Will they be able to drive a car that is instant acceleration like a rocket ship?
Yeah. Well, especially with your passengers, because you're going to get a lot of screaming and complaining.
You're going to get a lot of screaming and complaining. That's for sure. And
but then again, my passengers always scream and complain.
Well, over in Australia, or down in Australia, I should say, they are looking at the idea of mandating special licenses for high-powered cars. And this happened because somebody was driving a Lamborghini Hurricane, and he accelerated in a harsh and deliberate manner. The car drifted up onto the footpath and killed a girl that was walking on the side of the street. So,
well, that's horrible.
This politician is saying that you would need a different kind of license, sort of like you have a motorcycle endorsement. Do you have one of those in Virginia? We
do, yeah. You have to have one.
Yeah. So it would be sort of like something like that. But maybe you might have to go to a high-performance driving school or something like that to learn about the capabilities of the vehicle.
I have been an advocate of that for decades.
I think it's just a good idea to do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I believe you should have graduated levels of licenses.
Yeah. And tell them, you know what, maybe it's not the best idea to take the traction control off on the road or shut down some of the things that can help you, because they could give them a big parking lot and say, here's what happens when you shut it off. Because no one wants to figure out, it's sort of like flying an airplane. It's like, hey, if we put the flaps down at this speed,
That's right.
What will happen?
Yeah, what does this lever do?
Oh, that's the sound of the flaps departing the aircraft.
Yes. You read about this or see it on the internet every day somewhere where somebody's bought a brand new high-powered car and they've barely made it out of the lot before they crashed it.
We do that story a lot. Apparently, a lot of people.
Well, because, these people that are completely untrained, inexperienced, and they jump in, and what do? They've seen all this on TV, the drifting and the burnouts and all that. So then they just stand on it and they can't control it. It's not as simple as it looks.
They get themselves into an unrecoverable situation.
That's exactly right.
More pilot speak, right?
And very expensive situations.
Too much input and not enough output.
Yes.
So,
yes. And it always follows the words, watch this.
Hold my beer.
That's it.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, we'll have to see if this idea catches on. It's interesting. I also think, to me, one of the things that drives me crazy nowadays is people cutting in and out around traffic and leaving afoot.
Yep.
You and I have talked about this. It's worse than being in the fast lane and speeding, I think.
It is. It's very dangerous. People are clipping each other all the time.
Yeah. So. there you have it.
And it's getting worse. That's the interesting thing. It's getting worse.
It is. It certainly is. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's going on over at Ford. And Ford, of course, has had a huge year with the Mach E. And, of course, so much so that they had to shut down the order banks for Ford and for the Mach E. And now they're reopening them. They reopened them this week. Vehicle sales, Ford's U.S. electric vehicle sales were up 168.7% in July, with Mustang Mach-E up 74.1%. The second best-selling electric SUV in America. I guess what's the first? Would it be the ID4?
Well,
Electric SUV. I don't know.
Let me see if I can research it while we're talking. I don't know. I don't think it's the Tesla Model X or Tesla Model X.
Interesting. I don't know. We'll have to see. But big news if you're looking to buy a Mach E. Both you and I have driven it. You kind of didn't like it, right? You were unimpressed.
You're right.
You were unimpressed with it. I liked it. I thought it did a great job. But let's talk about some of these new additions and that for the Mach E. And the first is a couple of changes here. The California Route 1, which was previously available as either rear-wheel drive or electric all-wheel drive, is now available only as an all-wheel drive option. Remember, doesn't add all that much weight the way it does in a gas-powered car, but it will decrease your range if you go with all-wheel drive, right?
That is true. It has to.
Yeah. So that's one change. The panoramic fixed glass roof is now standard on GT and GT Performance Edition, replacing the black painted roof. I'm not a fan of the glass roofs. I just don't like them. I'd rather have a metal roof. And you said It doesn't have a shade, right?
It doesn't have a shade. Yes, the air conditioning will catch up, but in the meantime, I am uncomfortable.
Okay. All right. So there you
go.
go.
There.
So let's look at some of these prices. And Ford says they've had significant strain on supply chains, and the prices have gone up. So it starts with the Select rear-wheel drive standard range of $46,895. The all-wheel drive, the Select E all-wheel drive standard range, $49,595. And the California Route 1 extended range all-wheel drive, $63,575. And then you have a premium rear-wheel drive at $54,975 and all-wheel drive premium at $57,675. And then the big kahuna, the GT extended range, $69,895. I have not driven the GT Mach E, but I will say this, I would like to. How about you?
Yeah. Again, I was just not happy with the ride. And the size of the screen. It was blocking controls on the dash, but it's a pretty impressive machine.
Yeah, you can get a extended range battery for $8,600, which is a beefy upgrade. The Night Pony Blackout package, it looks like for $800, black wheels and things. And the GT Performance package, which I guess is on top of the GT extended range, for another $6,000. Wow.
So now we're $75,000.
Yeah. Which brings
with the extended range, 83.
Well, a GT I guess has the extended range, but you would add that. So let's say 70. So 76,000 plus destination plus a whole bunch of other things. So which brings us kind of to our next story. The average price people are paying for their monthly payments has gone up. The average new car loan hits a record of $40,000. Prices are surging everywhere. According to J.D. Power, do you know what the average price for a vehicle was in August? This August, right? The average price for a new car or truck from J.D. Power, they said this last week. What do you think it is?
Well, I know what it is.
You can read it right in front of you.
Well, I just don't want to say it.
46,259.
Now, a year ago, you know what that figure was?
35,000.
37,000.
Wow.
So almost $10,000 more in 1 year.
That is crazy. That is crazy talk. But hey,
Yeah.
we'll look at some more of these numbers when we come back. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
But overall,
And welcome back to Cruise Control. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Les, you and I were talking about the price of vehicles, and we have a number that gets your eyeballs, don't we?
Well, it's almost frightening because first the average transaction price now for every vehicle is $46,259, which man, that's almost 10,000 more than it was a year ago. But then the average monthly payment is $667. But that's for 69 months.
That's huge. 69 months. Think of what the vehicle's worth at that time.
That's 5 years and 9 months. So in 5 years, let's say you buy an Altima.
Okay.
Okay, and it's fully loaded, 35,000.
Right.
Well, actually, it wouldn't be that payment. Let's look at something that's 46, like like pretty much anything. A Subaru Outback, fully loaded, everything.
Yeah, that could be in that range you mentioned.
Certainly in the 40s. So in you're going to be paying $600 a month. Okay, you can get used to that because it's sort of there. But in 3 years, that Outback is going to be actually worth about maybe 30.
Wow.
32.
Yeah.
So, but in 3 years, you owe more than 32 because the interest is kicking it up.
Yeah, it's a losing proposition. Then this kind of goes into what you and I have said, that the future of the automotive world might be leasing. And you look at some of the lease prices here, the average monthly payment for a new vehicle, it was $667. That's huge.
Well, that's it's $8,000 a year.
Right? Crazy. But
plus insurance, plus gas.
People could lease for less than that. And with the amount of changes going on in the automotive world, as far as models and electric vehicles and new vehicles coming on, new safety, they could get the latest and greatest with that, and just have it, they wouldn't have to worry about their vehicle aging out and being worth a lot less. I feel we're going to move to a strictly lease type basis.
I think you're right.
Or the amount of leasing would go up.
Something close to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Used cars actually, I had read that the price of used cars was coming down a bit, but the average used car loan actually jumped for used cars $28,534 with a monthly payment of $515, up 17%.
Well, now wait a minute. Oh, because the used car payment schedule is only going to be 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. But huge. Yeah. So there it is. The average price of a new car is $46,259. It was below when we started doing the show a long time ago. What was the average price of a car? Was it around 22,000?
I don't think it was that high.
Okay.
I think somewhere between 20 and 22.
Yeah. Pretty crazy stuff. And hey, if you're heading into a dealer, you're going to be in for a pretty big surprise. But you don't have to spend huge amounts of money. You can buy something, let's say, like a Kia Forte, which is new. They have some new model of the Forte, a refreshed model, and the LX starts at $19,490, and the LXS moves up to $19,990, and the GT line $21,690, and the GT DCT $24,190, and the GT manual transmission. Remember those?
What?
Yeah, manual transmission.
Man.
$24,890. So this vehicle, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It is gets a significant product enhancement, new front and rear design elements, a new available 10.25-inch widescreen navigation display, and an expanded roster of advanced driver assistance systems. Nice-looking vehicle. I got to tell you, it's not a bad thing to be driving around in a sedan. And I know that goes against everything that we're being taught, right?
Well, you're right. We're the holdouts here.
Well, you used to you're talking about holdouts. You used to use the term station wagon even when you were told not to by manufacturers.
Yes. Well, I think station wagon is a very good description of what it is.
So,
or estate car.
Yeah, I have to say I was in a Camry hybrid, which we'll have a at the wheel review coming up in a little bit on Cruise Control, a couple of weeks. And it was one of the most enjoyable experiences being in a sedan, in a large sedan. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great vehicle. It was easy to use. It was easy to drive. And it got close to 50 miles to the gallon, which is crazy, right?
Well, but I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. You can park it. You know, it's efficient. It's reliable.
Yeah. And
what's the downside?
But it wasn't the biggest vehicle that you could possibly get.
That's right.
That had the tallest seating.
It's not an 8-passenger. I don't even have 8 friends. So
you can just grab people and put them in the seats. Yeah.
I do that.
You know, strangers to so.
Yeah.
Remember how people would use blow up people to get into the high occupancy range? Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a little bit about that. There's another interesting story here, talking about things being bigger. VW's ID Buzz, the van, right, coming back.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. version will be 10.6 inches longer than the version sold in Europe because I guess they want the third row seat to be really usable.
Well, Americans carry a lot of stuff with them. You know, we have to bring our big screen TV with us and all the other stuff. Well, by the way, I want to. When are these things going to get in the test fleet?
I don't know. They're just still making their way here. It seems like some of these models we've been talking about.
I really am excited to drive one.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Well, it will be a little bit longer for America. And you think of it, what does it cost them to make a longer version? I guess that would be too long for Europe, the roads. And
well, maybe, but
I don't know. It's real interesting. So, we'll look forward to driving that. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. We are certainly glad you are along for the ride. And we will be back with another great hour of automotive information. So you want to stay tuned for that. Plenty coming up at Cruise Control, cruisecontrolradio.com, on our YouTube page, and more. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Bye.